And what I'm seeing, you mentioned roller coaster, right? So the appreciation that we've had really since COVID has been just unbelievable, right? So we've seen home prices just go straight up, right? So it's not normal for us to have 20% appreciation year over year, right? So you have 2021 to 2022, right? So just keep going up and up and up and up, and all of a sudden it's kind of leveled off, right? And that's because of interest rates going up, right? So you have less demand, you have fewer people that are pushing those prices up, and now we're seeing maybe a little bit of a dip, but at this point, I don't see it come crashing down, right? The only thing I could see come crashing down is if we hit such a severe recession that everybody lost their home and there was no buyers, right? That could cause it, but I don't see that happening. What I see happening is we've reached that kind of plateau where the appreciation, the rate of appreciation has slowed down. Doesn't mean that home prices are coming down. It just means rate of appreciation, the velocity of price appreciation has slowed down. So we're kind of at this flatter curve, and we may have like a little bit of a dip, but what we're gonna see is I see it as it's not, so if you look on YouTube, you look at different memes, look on social media, you would think that the market is crashing and nobody wants to buy a home. What I'm seeing is it's a new market. It's a new consumer. So previously we've had a consumer that's been driven by interest rates, low interest rates. So when rates were in the 2s and the 3s, you had a consumer that was like, hey, I can qualify, I can go buy a home, and because of the way my debt to income ratio is set up, I can actually stretch as much as I possibly can, and I'll even overpay for that particular listing just to get in. Right? Because there was such a huge demand for it, and there was zero supply, right? So there was so little supply that everybody was bidding for it, right? So that's what pushed home prices up. Now that we've had this influx of more homes on the market, and it hasn't been a surge, it's just adjusted back to pre-pandemic levels. So now you have all of these homes in the market, you have fewer buyers. Rates are at 7%, right? So we just, right now on average over, look at the 30-year fixed, we're over 7%. So there are a lot of people that have just gotten out of the market entirely. But what has happened is there's been a new consumer that's emerged. And I'm seeing this at open houses. I'm seeing my smart friends that are calling me up, the professionals, right? So these are attorneys, these are bankers, these are, people that they did not want to compete with 50 other people per property, right? They didn't want to overpay and pay, 10 to 20% over list, right? So what they're looking at it is, look, I have more choice. I have more options to choose from. I get that I might have to get in at 7%, but you don't have to have 7% for the life of that home. You have that ability. You have that ability where we don't know when, but at some point interest rates should come down, right? So if you look at all of the various recessions that we've ever had, and you've seen where we've raised the Fed funds rate, so the 0 days, right? The Fed funds rate, short-term rate, when we've raised it to the point where we break consumption and people are no longer buying, what's going to happen is they're going to have to start bringing it back down. And when you start to bring down inflation, interest rates come back down, right? So that person, they get in at the 7%, but they don't have to stay at that rate, right?